Okay, fine. So in last class we discussed about some tags of HTML. Fine. Or we was discussing form tag of HTML. Fine. So we will continue from form tag also. So as you see, yes, this is our last page. So we have input type, input tag, and in input type we can pass either text or password or radio or checkbox. And if you want to display some drop downs, then you will use select and option tag. Now, now we will use some tags of HTML5. As I told you, HTML5 is latest version of HTML. It provides some tags through which we can design our page in a interactive and secure manner. It is also reduce some code of JavaScript. As I told you, when we want to control behavior of a web page, then we will go for JavaScript. But when you will use tags of HTML5, then there is no need to write loads of code of JavaScript. So which type of tags we will use for HTML5? See, I just want to take a email as an input from user. I just want to take a email as an input from user. So here we will use one more tr tag. Then you will use a td. I just want to take a email. So if you want to take an email from user, then we will use input type email. Input type email. Now, when you will take input type email, then we have one advantage. What is that? See, when you will type anything inside name like 011, then it will, when you will click on submit, then it will transfer value of name. But when you will not enter a proper email, like I'm just giving here ABC, and then when you will click on submit, it will produce an error. See, it is showing you include, please include at the rate and dot, and it means you have to enter here proper email address like abc at the rate gmail.com. When you will enter a proper email, then you can submit this. So the main advantage of email tag is what? When we will take email, then we have to enter a proper email, otherwise it will produce an error. Okay, I just want to take a date. So we just want to use a date picker. How can we do this? We will take a tr tag. Inside the tr, I'm just want to take date of birth of user. So if you want to take a date picker, then we will use input type date. When you will put input type date, then you will get what? A date picker. And from this date picker, you can choose any date. Fine. From this date picker, you can choose any date. I just want time picker. Okay. How can we do this? You will use one tr. Inside the tr, you will use a td, and I'm just want to take time from user, and again we will use one more td. Inside this td, you will take input tag, and inside the input tag we will put type time. So when you will use input type time, then you will see we have a time picker. In this time picker, we can pick any time like 11:41 and PM, whatever. But sir, we want date and time both as a single input. Is it possible? Yes, it's possible, but it's not like that. You will use like date and time, input type date and time. See what exactly we want. We just want to take date and time both as a single input. So when you will use input type date and time, when you will use input type date and time, when you will use input type date and time, then it's not showing you as like date picker or time picker. Even though we can also enter a text here, like you can enter anything here, but it's not a right thing. So how can we achieve, how can we display date and time both as the same input? So you will use, guys, date time dash local. Now you will get date and time picker in a single input. See, from here you can choose date and time both simultaneously. So we have input type email, so we have input type date, input type time, and you can also put date and time together with the help of date time local. Now next, I just want to take a URL. Okay. I just want to take a URL. As you know, each and every web application contains their own URL. So I'm just try to making a software or a web application in which we have to enter lots of URL. So how can you filter out this? If you want to apply restrictions at the time to submit your form, then you will use JavaScript. But without JavaScript, is it possible? Yes, it's possible with the help of what? HTML5 input text. So here we will also use one more tag, that is what? That is input type. Inside VTD you will use input, and here we will put input type URL. Here we will put input type URL. See, when you will save this, then you will refresh, and you will get what? URL. Here, when you will enter anything, then when you will click on submit, then it is not a valid URL. So when you will submit this form, then you will get a error. What is this? Please enter a URL. It means you have to enter a valid URL like https://www.abc.com. When you will enter a valid URL, then you can submit your form. Fine, guys. Next, as I told you, we can also make colors with the help of computer. Yes, it is possible. Usually, we will make any type of color, and as you know, each and every color should be combination of three colors, like red, green, and blue. So basically, I just want to make color with the help of computer. So how can you do this? So we have a type field color. So inside the input you can pass attribute type as a color, or here you will write color, not ur. Fine, color instead of color. When you will refresh this, okay, one thing we missed, we have to surround it with td tag. So input type surround with td tag. Now you will get a color picker. Now guys, as I told you, each and every color is a combination of red, green, and blue. So when you will click on this color picker, see, it is showing you RGB. R stands for red, G stands for green, and B stands for blue. So what is the minimum value of RGB? See here, we have the minimum value 000, and what is the highest value of RGB? So 255 is highest value for RGB. 0000 is mainly used to make a black color, and 255 is mainly used to achieve white color. So we will use RGB function also to make any type of color, and on that time a question will arise, may I know what is the minimum and maximum value of RGB? So on that time you can say the minimum value of RGB is 000 and the maximum value of RGB is 255. Fine, guys. Sometimes we just want to transfer input. Now we are discussing special input through which we can also achieve sessions. What is sessions? I will tell you when we will learn PHP. Fine. So we will discuss session later. But now we have a special type of input through which we can achieve sessions also. So which type of input we will use for that? See, if we will submit this form, if we will submit this form with some values, like I just want to pass Deepak, and I just want to pass here anything A B C D. In password you will pass 1234. See, when you will submit your form, then watch this URL. You will get all the details. You will get all the details in URL. See, it is showing uname equals to Deepak and PWD equals to 123. It means it is showing us each and every value when you will entered in the form. After submission of your form, you will get all the values in URL bar. Fine. You will get all the values in URL bar. But I just want to take one more input. I just want to take one more input, but we do not want to display here. We do not want to display that input here, but we just want to transfer value of that input to server side application. So how can we do this? So we have one more option through which we can also achieve session. We will discuss what is session in further sessions. But here I just want to transfer uh, I just want to transfer like course. So how can we do this? So with the help of this name, inside this name, I just want to use one more input tag, but we do not want to display this input tag. See, first of all, I just want to take input type text here. See what happened. And name, I just want to like course, and we can use one more attribute of input tag, that is what value. So we can pass value of course as a PHP. See, when you will use input type text, then it will definitely display a input in your form. But you can see here, it is displaying a value PHP because we already passed a value attribute, and inside the value attribute we will pass what? PHP. We are passing PHP. That's why we will see it is showing here PHP. Fine. But the main important thing is that we do not want to display this input tag in our form. It means we just want to hiddenly transfer value of course parameter when we will submit this form. How can we do this? So one of the most important thing is here, you will use input type hidden. Instead of input type text, you will use input type hidden. And when you will use input type hidden, then this input field will not shown in your form. See, when you will refresh, then we do not have like course field here. See, name, email, date of birth, time, date, time. We have all the fields, but we do not have input type hidden field. But what is the advantage of this? So guys, when you will submit your form, then then I just want Deepak, then 12345. So when you will submit your form, in this form we have one more attribute, that is what? Course. So we will transfer course value also, and course value is fixed for all user. Whenever each and every user will submit this form, then definitely they will transfer the value of which parameter? Come on, course parameter. And when you will submit this form, then see, uname equals to Deepak, course equals to PHP. So at the time to submit a form, if we want to transfer some data hiddenly, then we will use a very special input field, that is what? Input type hidden. Sir, I just want to submit my resume also. Okay, fine, no issue. If you want to submit your resume, then you can take one more input type, that is what? So before date and time, after date time, before URL, we will make one more row, and inside the rows we will use some TDs. And what you want to submit? I just want to submit a resume or a file. A resume, or it's not like that a resume, you can submit any file. How can you do this? So if you want to submit a file, then you will take input type as file. The main advantage of file tag or file type is you can choose now any type of file. See, you have a file picker here. From this you can choose a image file or a audio file or a video file or a text file. Any type of file you can choose from here. Fine, you can choose any type of file from here. I just want to upload a picture. Okay, this picture. So see, you can see here we have 5.jpg. It is showing here. So you can choose any file name from here, or you can choose any type of file. Fine. One or last input we will use, that is text area. If you want to submit some large content, guys, if you want to submit some large content like address or about a person, because this type of content is too large. So if you want to submit some large content, then on that case we will use tr. Then you will use td, or inside this td I just want to enter address of particular person. So here you will not use input type text, because input type text can show a limited amount of data. But if we want to submit a large amount of text, so on that case we will not use input type text. Instead of input type text, we will use one special tag, that is what, text area. Now, as I told you, text area is mainly used to display some large amount of content. So in this text area, you will use two major properties. First one is rows. Second one is columns. So in rows, we will pass a numeric value like how many rows you want to display here. So we just want to display only 3 to 4 rows. So I'm just passing here 3. And in per row, how many characters you want to display. So we will use a special type of property, that is calls. So I just want to display total 21 columns here. So in this text area, at a time we will displaying 3 rows, and in each rows we will display 21 characters. And you will refresh your form page, then see it is your text area. Fine, it is your text area. At a time we can display only 3 rows, and per row we can display 21 characters. If you will enter more than 3 rows data, then you can see here we have a scroller here. We can scrolling up, we can scrolling down. So guys, this all are the commonly used text of form, and we will definitely use all this type of text when we will create an application with the help of PHP.